Hello again, everybody. Sebastian here with another Watch Our Realms video. In this one, we're going to be covering the new stage 15 for the faction trials of the Esoteric Order. Here, I'm going to kind of show you some clips as of the time of the recording of this video. The keep had closed on me, so I'm going to try to see if I can find some tidbits to show you before we go on to how I actually completed the run. So you can see here in stage 15 that the condition that you have to meet so you can get the 3 stars is that no heroes can die. And so you have to keep everybody alive, and then you're able to get the 3 stars, and then you're able to farm it and then collect as many of the insignias and possibly get a piece of ancient mythic gear that is faction exclusive out of this. So before we go over to the major portion of the presentation, which is actually how I was able to clear this, one of the things that I can tell you is here's how this map looks like. So you're gonna see the boss enter the field right away. And so let me continue playing here, because one of the things that I did do is I went into the manual. Now, the same characters that are in stages 13 and 14 are going to be here as well. We're going to have to deal with the Crimson Guards, so we're going to have to make sure that we can get some units in here that can hit air. We can get them out of the way, they won't corrupt the tiles, and then we have the 3 variants of the destroyers that we'll have to eliminate. Now, here's with the boss, Mystic Serpent. Essentially what he comes out to be is he has this corrupt force, he has this little bind. Essentially what he is doing is that if we allow him to persistently be targeting us, he will deal permanent damage and also will lock us out. So we need to make sure that we stay on top of him. And how do we do that? Is that we need to put a hero that can apply curse to it, because then we can lock him up. Okay, so that is what you're going to see me here with Venoma. All right, she's going to be the mage that I'm using to make sure that she can apply the curse as often as possible. So in going back and looking at the roster, I was actually looking to see who could apply curse. And then of course we have heroes here. Now, Komet can do it. It says every 5 attacks he can apply a curse, but we need him to deal with the destroyer. So to me, he is more valuable in that area than he is on just focusing on a boss. So that's why I didn't use him here. Serafina can also do it. So if you want to use her for this purpose, you can definitely add her to the roster to get to the curse. Now, I actually used her in another manner, because as I find out, she was able to deal with that lane very, very well. And in addition to the 2 that I have shown you that can apply curse, so if you're really tied up, you might want to, you're probably going to have to use Komet if you don't have Venoma, but you do have hands on an epic. You could definitely use him. Just make sure you tank him up, because he is going to need to take some hits, and he will then apply curse to the boss if you need him for that regard. So that's what one of the things that he will be good for in this content. All right, so in addition to the corrupt force, the lethal bind, and here this toxic venom, we have to worry about the serpent hiss. So while the Mystic Serpent is on the battlefield, whenever a hero casts a skill, it deals damage to all heroes and inflicts 1 permanent stackable vulnerability to them all, and it cannot be dispelled. Then the last thing here is the Mystic Guard. So here, this essentially was that as long as there are any enemies out, if we haven't eliminated them, she's going to be invulnerable to damage, right? We cannot, there's not going to be a reduction in her health bar. We have to eliminate everybody around her, all right? So around the boss. So that's what we're going to try. Once we eliminate everybody, then we'll be able to start dealing damage. And so that's going to be the last step that you saw me do. Now, I'm going to show you the complete run. And then I'm also going to give you a tidbit as to why you may want to consider doing one of the steps that I did to make sure that you do not get wiped out of the map. Okay, so here will be the run. The successful run that got us 3 stars, so we were able to complete the stage. You can see the roster that I'm using here. We could use Benoma to apply the curse, and Comet and Warriors are going to be my major damage dealers. So is Seraphina. Seraphina is going to handle one of the lanes for me. I'm using I essentially to CC things, you know, just in case, slow things down if we need that. Her icicles do very well for that regard. We need Trusk for this. It's a defender that I thought we needed to bring in so the boss has something to target at the end, and then he can, of course, tank it up. And then you're also going to see me use Lyra, but I'm using her at the very end. Okay, she's going to be the one that brings the boss down for me, and I'll show you why exactly that was the case. Okay, so here we go. Here's the start of it. So one of the first things you're going to see me do is I'm going to put the Comet down because he's going to be the DPS that I'm going to use. I'm also allowing enough cost to build. I'm going to take myself off so you can guys see everything. And then you can see I'm letting the cost build up a little bit, and I'm going to put Comet down, and then I'm going to protect him with a healer. In this case, I used Esren. Now, when it comes to this boss, though, it will target the last unit placed down. Okay, so she will try to lock you out, try to poison you as well. So the thing here is that in order for me to combat this, I decided to put my tankier units down so she could target him. So essentially, I was picking the healer, or I was selecting the tank that you're going to see me use at the end. But here in this case, we're going to be using, there we go, we're going to be using Lily to protect Seraphina. Now Seraphina with her ultimate definitely wiped out the Crimson Guard, so they didn't get a chance to take a shot at us. Now the White Scholars I was able to deal with, no problem. We're going to use Boreas for this. So here we go. Now, if I would have noticed things a little bit earlier, I would have put him in earlier, so this White Scout did not get out of the way. But we do have Lyra, so let's just go ahead and use her for this, and then withdraw her back. So now the boss can start targeting the healer again. Now I'm gonna place I down. Let's start using some of these icicles to CC things, in case we do start getting into trouble. So that's essentially what I'm gonna have her do. Now she is definitely going to take a couple of hits here, which is not a big deal. We have a healer with her. So again, it's all about the RNG, is whether Benoma can keep up the curse and just slow this thing down, right? So she doesn't get a chance, the boss does not get a chance to apply the venom to us. All right, so here we go. You can see on the left-hand side that I have Boreas combating these destroyers that are coming out. Here we go. Gonna take I out of the equation now. She placed the icicles I needed to place down. Okay, so Boreas is tanking things. So here's where I'm waiting to start to clear all the destroyers out of the map here. So you notice that I haven't put trucks down. I don't need them yet. So bottom right, hoping Seraphina can take care of the Crimson Guard that is coming and a couple of destroyers. Got some more coming from the left-hand side as well. So here we go. So there's Seraphina taking care of one of the destroyers, and she will also be able to take care of another unit that is coming. There we go. So there you go, the Crimson Guard is down, and then comes the other destroyer. So for this, she did very well. So if you have her, use her. There we go. It's down. Now let Boreas clear things up again. Okay, so at this stage here, after we have taken everybody out, I'm going to start recalling everybody. And if we don't, what's going to happen is that the boss is going to enter an enraged state and will blow everybody out of the map. In addition, if this boss is allowed to go into that mode, he will start calling destroyers out of the portals. So I'm taking as many units out as I don't need, right? Because if he does do the burst, I want to make sure that there's enough healing for everybody. All right, so there is Lyra. You see how now that there are no units outside, that the boss starts taking damage. But Noma still applies the curse, which is what we need. And there is Trusk, right? Now, the reason that I had I placed the icicles down is just in case destroyers came out. And I'll show you a clip where that actually happens. But you see here, I'm just everything is on Lyra. So I'm gonna bring. I also started bringing in. I think I brought somebody else to help Lyra. Either that, or I didn't want to mess things up as they were right now. So see, as long as she's applying that curse, she's pretty much unable to do anything. So there we go. She's ready to do her move. And she does it. We were able to survive it. And she goes down. There we go. The boss went down. We didn't have anybody die. We didn't have anybody out coming the corners. We were able to complete it. And that is your three-star run. And we were able to unlock it. All right. So now, let me go ahead and grab a clip and show you what happens if we do not actually recall everybody back. Okay, folks. So this is one of the clips of the fail run. All right. So here's what's happening. So one of the things that I wanted to do was set up the end, right? So I was going to bring in Lyra in, and I was going to then bring Trust because I wanted Trust to take the hits. All right. So that's exactly what I was set up to do. So there is Lyra, and then I'll put Trust down. All right. Eventually, I'm going to make sure that he gets healed and that he is able to complete the run. But one of the things that I did not do is I did not recall everybody back. So you see, so that's that special move. Now everybody's getting wiped out, right? And I did not recall everybody back. So I did lose a couple of units. And then I lose Benoma. But you see the consequence of that, of not protecting myself against that. Now I have all these destroyers coming out. So that's exactly what I had to compensate for in the run that I actually showed you. So I started as soon as I saw 28 at 29, I recalled everybody back, and I just got myself ready for that one move. So that's why you saw me just make sure Benoma was keeping up with the curse, and then make sure that anybody that remained was available to be healed. All right. So that's exactly what I did. And that's why then I was able to succeed. So if this happens to you, it's exactly, you left somebody out. So you just make sure, take everybody back, make sure they don't get sapped, and then that you have to then try to then combat all of this. Because number one, you already lost the stage. Your heroes died, and now you have all these destroyers coming at you that you have to then deal with by hoping that you get your heroes back and you can spawn them again. Like I said, unfortunately, I keep closed by the time I was recording this, but at least I'm able to show you the builds of the heroes that I use, so at least I remember that I use. So if here for Lyra, I just put her on the Soulbone Arcana set. Is something that I know that she does very well in. So you can kind of see the 20,000 attack with about 400 speed and 353 critical damage. So that's the build there for her. Most of the mages that I use had TOT except for one, and I'll show you here in a minute. I did not use Ceres. I think, yeah, it was this A5 commit that I use. If you have a lower awakening one, they should be able to do just fine. I did have his exclusive here in the test server to test out. So about 19,000 attack, 378 speed, 328.5 critical damage, and I gave him some rage regen as well. The Benoma that I used, it was a tanky Benoma, so I would just want to make sure she gets up, that she was able to sustain the battle, and I just put her in an H-less set because that's just the pieces that I had. Now the one thing that I wanted to make sure is that she had enough attack speed so she could then do the basic attacks as quickly as she could, so she then could apply that curse, and let's just keep that boss in check at the same time. Now listen, this is something that I did. You don't have to. If you want to put her in a TOT, put her in a TOT. But here, this one had this Watchguard's Wisdom had an opportunity, a percentage chance to grant her an additional basic attack based on the amount of rage that she builds. And so since it was somewhat quick, I decided to take advantage of that. So she then could then apply that curse. So that's exactly why I decided to use this, just for this particular reason. Now it says it can only be triggered once up to 5 seconds, but it's a small percentage chance, right? So I didn't think it was going to be that quick, but I like to think that it helped. So that's why I decided to use it. We did not use Helga. We did use this Boreas, this A1 Boreas, Tear of Twilight, and again, Soulbane Arcana set, Wicked Vengeance set, about 70,000 attack, 409 speed, 343 critical damage. Ezreal was one of the healers that I used. This A1 Ezreal with a light grace and invigoration. He does have an attack bonus, bangle and ring, attack bonus ring, and then the bangle and the amulet were healing effect. Okay, and then he had his exclusive as well. We did use Trust for this. He had his exclusive fully level, and I just put him into a Guardian and Immortal set. So you can kind of see there the stats: 98,000 HP, 100 or 10,000 defense, some speed, 394, and some rage regen there as well. I'm not sure if I showed his stats, but here's Ezreal's stats. So 15,000 attack, and I do try to shoot like 200 healing effect with him. And then Seraphina, which is one of the ones that really came through clutch in this one. 17,000, almost 18,000 attack, 342 speed, 338 critical damage, some rage regen, 41%. But I just left her in Warlord and Soulbane kind of set. So I think that was pretty much it. Let's see, Elowen. Okay, so let me make sure the healers, so you guys can see this. So here's Elowen, a little bit tanky, attack speed, attack bonus, light grace set with her exclusive, right? Here we go, 18,000 attack, 600 speed, and about 34% rage regen and attack. Let's see, and then the other important attribute to show you here is healing effect, which is only 96 for this one. Let me so then we have Esther, and then Lily, of course, Lily. So a little bit tanky for Lily, attack bonus, attack speed, healing effect. Just want to make sure that she could take a couple of hits, so that's why she has about 30,000 HP. She's fast, 419 speed, all right, 40,000 rage regen. And I gave her the Elysian Epitaph as the healing, just so she could possibly, give the hero a little bit of an opportunity to survive with that greater healing effect. So that's pretty much it. That's the Esotericists run. That's what I was able to do here when I did my first playthrough. I bet that a lot of other content creators are going to have fun trying to see if they could do it with epics. And that's could be a fun trial to do, to try to see how many of these set epics will contribute. But at least from my feeling on how things were going and the fact that we needed a lot of firepower to bring those destroyers down, Komet and Boreas are going to be integral portions of this. I imagine that if you have them, you're going to want to use them for this. All right. And then we have a couple of options for curse heroes here that you can possibly use to combat this boss. So if you have Junker and you're not using him, you might as well build him if you're going to tackle this. All right. That'll do it for this video. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. I will see you all in the next Watch Your Realms video, and please do hit like and subscribe on your way out.